Got a little bit of a different deck profile for you today. It's on a laptop. Hi guys, Freaky Fish Guy here with something a little bit different for you today. So it's not in real life deck profile, it's not a discussion, it's not top 5 because that is clearly not my demographic, and I saw the views in those videos and I get your opinion. I'm never really going to do them again. Something a little bit different. Abysshire, the really big water YouTuber, they held a online Highlander event tournament. Highlander is an event where you can only play one copy of each card. That includes the current ban list. It's not like a traditional format. It is current ban list. Every card is put to 1. It was a 16-man event. There was a few other YouTubers in there. Pac was in there. A few other people from the Discord. I just entered with Water Marine Cess because I thought, I'm the Marine Cess guy. I'm going to see how Marine Cess can do. So we had people entering things like loads of Orcust, Danger, Dark World, BA, Code Talker. We had Blind Second, like Mech Knight, Invoked, Hand Traps. All really like good Highlander events that you'd Highlander decks that you'd think would enter. And then there was me with Marine Cess, Necros, Paleo, Frog, Mermail, Atlantean, Water Jank. Like I basically just had every water archetype and went yeah, and put them in a deck. And I came third. Third out of 16. I went X2 out of 5 rounds. I was on table 1, final round of X1, going against the other guy who won. I lost 2-1. It was very close. I had like a full really nice board. I had Marine Cess Link, I had extra extenders, and then Kaiju, summon a Kaiju, punch for game. Sad face, but I actually really enjoyed that. Yeah, shout out to Abysshire. It was a really good event. So I want to do a deck profile. Obviously, I was going to do an in real life deck profile of the deck, but then actually looking through my deck list, I don't actually have all the cards. And not only the cards are missing are Marine Cess cards. Yeah, Marine Cess YouTuber? Yeah, I know. Don't hurt me. So we're just going to do it. I'm going to post my deck list on the video, and then we're just going to talk through it on there. I would like to do, like I said, in real life, but beggars can't be choosers.
One last thing to remember before we look at the list, guys, is as it's a Highlander tournament, the decks were a little bit inconsistent just because you're playing so many one-offs. Your one-off starters aren't always going to be in your hand. So you saw things like the Invoked engine, the Windwitch engine running around just because they're really good one-card engines. So, on to my list. There are a few things I would like to point out just before we get started. I took approximately 20 minutes to build this deck because I was the last person to enter. They had one spot open and I was like, yes, I really want to enter. And as such, there are a few mistakes I did make and I had to stick with this deck list throughout the entire event. And it did cost me at a few points, but with a bit of tweaking, I can actually see this deck being good for a Highlander event. So I've grouped these engines together, just so you can see the deck as a whole, rather than a big mishmash of monsters. So to start off with, we've got an Atlantean engine, Dragoons, Heavy Infantry, Marksman, and a Neptibus. This, instead of like a combo piece in like Water, Hand Loop, Merman that we have today, was more of a spot removal. Normal summon Neptibus, send Infantry, pop a face up card, send Marksman, pop a face down card, send Dragoons, add Abyss Megalo to basically summon a big beat stick. Not the best use of Neptibus and Deep Sea Diva, and there was a few times when I went first, normal summoned this and went, oh, I'm not going to loot my opponent, what am I going to try and make? And usually just ended on like the Mermail Link too. Not the worst because you can send Dragoons, add a Heavy Infantry, then suddenly you have a Dryden. Again, this is Highlander. It's not all about your power, it's all your ceiling, it's more about your consistency. And as such, maybe like the Link 2 wasn't actually the worst thing to end on. Deep Sea Divas, they're just basically just access the Neptibus, or if I need to, I can also special summon the Minstrel, which will then trigger its special summon effect. If I have like a graveyard loaded and I want to outgrind my opponent. Abyss Megalo, just discard 2 orders, summon it, big beat stick. This actually won me a few games just because it's a big boy and the ability to attack twice at such a high attack value was very decent. The Abyss Teus didn't really come in that useful. I only have one target for it, which is the Abyss Spike. And there were a few times when it was more a brick because maybe I top decked the Abyss Spike for turn or I drew into it. But it was good as a level 7 extender, basically. It was just a free extender. Abyss Spike, this is now my favourite water normal monster, a normal summon ever. I don't know why, but this basically carried my deck through the entire event. It occurred to me halfway through round 1, after I've already made my deck list, how much this card can search. Any level 3 water monster, that's Arborea, that's Seahorse, that's Clauseless, just in this deck alone. Trust me, normal summon Abyss Spike, discard Dragoons, add Clauseless, was amazing, and I love this card. And I'm actually going to go ahead and test some other variants out just about Abyss Spike, because I'm very interested in this card now. But yes, Abyss Spike, really good normal summon, absolutely loved it. Arborea, level 3 tuner that can just special summon it to a zone elite monster, points 2 for free. So again, a free extender, a free body, and a tuner, so that was really nice. I just shoved it in there because extenders are never bad. Necros engine, really small Necros engine. We've got one Brionac, one Clauseless. Basically, Brionac was there to search the Clauseless, because Clauseless can discard itself to search the cycle, which will then just summon the Clauseless or Brionac from graveyard. We're not playing any other Necros monsters because they can tend to be bricks, especially if you're not playing a very high value Necros engine with loads of different hand traps and loads of different ritual spells. So these are two that are really simple and I quite like them. Plus, Clauseless and Seahorse is quite nice because when you add back the Seahorse, it's immediately tribute fodder. And as I said before, Clauseless is searchable by Abyss Spike, which had loads of value and I very much like that. Next engine, Frog engine, probably my absolute favourite engine in this deck, just because it involves Turtle. Swap Frog plus Duke Frog plus Ronan Toden, Gamma as well, because it's an Acro, I've just shoved them in here, and the 2 Turtles. But the Frog engine first. Yes, I kind of did play 2 bricks for Swap Frog with Dupe and Ronan, but Dupe can search Swap Frog, so it kind of let itself up. And in Highlander, I wasn't really being OTK'd, so I could just get away with the set Dupe, set a few back row, maybe summon a Clauseless, and be fine from there. So yeah, Swap Frog either turbos out Toad or turbos out the Testudo lock. Either one is a really good engine in Highlander. On to my 2 Turtles. We've got Gammasil, just because it's a Highlander event, games are going to be going on a while, and if they make a towers, there's not really a lot of consistent removal I need, so just slap a big boy down on there and get rid of their monsters. Testudo, Arat Newman, my favourite turtle boy in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! This card actually won me so many games because it is basically the key piece to a Marine Cess engine, make a Coral enemy, summon the Testudo underneath, and now suddenly you're winning because they cannot summon anything bigger than 1800. Then, Marine Cess. I had to play Marine Cess for a Highlander tournament. I love this deck. I'm actually now going to enter another online tournament playing with Marine Cess. This is technically, I guess, Marine Cess's first online top, but I'm not going to say it as that because it's a Highlander event, it's a 16-man event, it's not anything big. But just saying. 1 Blue Tang, 1 Pascalis, 1 Seahorse, 1 Mandarin, 1 Sea Star, one of the one I cannot remember the name of, and 1 Crown Tail. So Blue Tang plus Pascalis plus Seahorse are the good ones. You want to open Mandarin as well, I guess, can be shoved in here. They are your normal engine. Sea Star, I played at one point previously just as an out to the Winterlock, but in Highlander it came up a little bit. It was basically an honest at the start of the main phase. The one I can never remember the name of actually had a really good effect. That's the one between Sea Star and Crown Tail. If it's in your graveyard and a water monster you control will be drawn by card effect, you can banish it instead. This actually came up a lot because obviously Hydrolander is a card. I can banish this monster to protect a key water monster I control. So that was actually a really good card. Crown Tail, never saw it, never summoned it, sided it out every single game. I don't know why I played it. It was just a Marine Cess name that I shoved in there. But yeah, Marine Cess engine did exactly what you wanted it to do, apart from I forgot one key card, and I'm going to show you that later, and you're going to laugh at me. Next, we have Hebo. I played this once, literally about 3 years ago, in a character tournament for a Mako deck, because it is a spot removal. For those who don't know, on normal summon, target a monster your opponent controls, it is now a spirit monster. During end phase, bounce this monster, because it's also a spirit monster. So, you normal summon it, target a monster your opponent controls, do your other stuff, and then in your end phase, they both bounce, this monster and the one you targeted. So it's like a kind of really slow spot removal, but it's non-destruction removal, and it's a 1800 attack body. I kind of liked it. It's level 4 as well, so it can go into things like Bahamut, or you can just use it for the other link summons. So it's kind of a spot removal. Next we have Hydrolander. Really good card if you top deck it or if you just load it up your graveyard and then summon it. I summoned it I think twice in the whole tournament. That is 5 rounds each as a match. So again, not the most consistent build. We're not exactly Hydrolander BA, but it was a really nice top off when I did. Spell cards. 1 Silent Mining just to access any of my Marine Cess monsters. 1 Deep Sea Area just to access any of my Mermail bits basically that I needed, either the Deep Sea Diva, the Nectabis or the Minstrel. 1 Marine Cess Field Spell. We'll get on to why I didn't really do this part well later on. 1 Mystic Mine, call me degenerate, but it's a Highlander event, I'm going to have to play Mystic Mind just because we aren't that consistent. 1 Necros Cycle for the Necros engine, and 1 Prep for the Necros engine. This basically searches the Brainiac, which searches the Clauseless, which searches the Cycle. You get the idea. Next, trap cards. 1 Marine Cess Wave. This is why this deck did well. Marbled Rock recycling Marine Cess Wave every turn is really, really good in a format where you only have 1 copy of each card. That ability to recycle basically an imperm every turn, basically just outgrinded my opponent where I just locked down all their effects. Then we have a Paleo engine. 1 Candina just to be Book of Moon, 1 Dynamiscus just again to be spot removal, 1 Morella. This was actually key because it sent the Marine Cess Wave, which you can then add back with your Coral Enemy going to great for your Marbled Rocks. That actually card came up quite a lot. And then finally 1 Urlanoides, again just be a bit of spell and trap removal. I didn't really know what I was going to be playing against because I haven't really looked at the Hydrolander meta, if that is a thing, but there might have been a few floodgates, so I just shoved it in there. Another key thing for all these cards they are extenders. If you activate another trap card, they can summon them. Not as like the most consistent thing, but with the wave, I actually got a lot of value out of my Paleozoic cards because they kept coming back and I can turn them into extenders. Then finally we just have the Solemn Brigade, just because we lack inherent negation as Marine Cess / Water. Other than Toad and Clauseless, we're not actually making a lot of negates, so I just needed them to try and stem back my opponent. Ultimately, the game plan changed every game depending what my hand was. Either make a big Marine Cess link, make Clauseless negate, make Marine Cess plus Turtle Lock, make Toad, make the Mermail link plus a heavy infantry in hand just to be a pop, set a bunch of Paleo cards. The deck was very, very different each game, and that's something I very much enjoyed. It felt like I was actually in the anime because I was playing a jumbled up deck full of weird, wacky effects. Really good fun. I highly recommend Highlander to anyone. Now, as we move on to the side deck, which you can see, I'm going to also bring into view the extra deck, and then we're going to move on from there. Now, a few of you might have noticed something already from the extra deck that is missing. I'm going to get onto that and kick myself about it as we go. But first, side deck. 1 Ash, 1 Pankratops, 1 Effect Veiler, 1 Ghost Ogre. Just generic Ghost second cards I swapped in from the Solemn Brigade, or maybe a few of the Paleo Traps, or actually what really happened was I took out Crown Tail and the other Marine Cess cards I'm never using. Pankratops should have been in the main. It was a really good card in simplified game states. Ash, Veiler, Ogre didn't actually miss. There's not a lot of big wombo combos in Highlander events, so you don't actually need to main hand traps. Maybe things like Ash and Imperm would be good, but they weren't exactly missed. Sphere mode, never brought it in. No one was making big bad boards, so didn't really care about that. Cosmic Cyclone, MST Twin Twisters are your standard spot removal. Again, this is Highlander, so it's very weird having only 3 removal spells. You could play Lightning Storm as well if you're blinding second. I chose not to because I wanted to, as I said before, build this deck in real life. I'm actually only missing a few of the Marine Cess cards to do it. Then my side energy went, you know what, we'll just play stuff people didn't expect. So we brought in the Mirror Forces. It's a bit jumped up, but we've got Drowning Mirror Force, Quaking Mirror Force, and Storming Mirror Force. These actually did come up, and they did actually surprise my opponent and win me a few games, just because it's Highlander. Have a bit of fun, play something a bit anime-like, and actually worked. Evenly matched, just there to go second again. If I'm playing against a good trap deck, it came off really good because I just blew up my opponent right there and then. Yes, it is really sacky to draw the 1-off evenly match in a Highlander deck, but it was fun nonetheless. 1 Red Reboot and 1 Imperial Order. The cards are at 1, but nobody cares because every card's at 1. And again, they are really good powerhouse cards. Now, on to my extra deck. Synchros, 1 Brainiac, just to use with like maybe the Deep Sea Diva and a level 4, or the Crusadia Arboreal, which is then summonable back by Coral and Enemy to make the Brainiac. 1 Mannequin Cat, never made it, was just in there if they made Neofiber for me to summon any water I needed from my deck. No one did, so I never really made it. 1 Toad for the Frog Engine, 1 Abysshire, just because if I absolutely open the stonks, game 1, and put 4 monsters on the board, 4 negates is not the worst thing to shout out. 1 Boral Sword, never made it, but it's just a good thing to have. 1 Cerberus, 1 Phoenix, just again a bit of spot removal. And then, of course, obviously my babies, the Marine Cess engine. My thing, I'm a Marine Cess YouTuber, I know how to play the Marine Cess, what could possibly go wrong? I forgot Sea Angel. I forgot the link one that searches the field spell, which then makes obviously the towers live, which kind of is the whole point of the Marine Cess engine in Highlander. Yeah, I nailed that. I completely forgot to add Sea Angel. I had to change my deck list right as I entered it because I added 2 copies of a card. That is my one chance to alter my deck list before round start, and as such I was not allowed to change my deck list to add Sea Angel. So I had to play 5 rounds of an event without my field spell searcher. I am a idiot. However, these cards are still very, very good in the grind game. Blue Slug plus Coral Enemy give you a really good grind game because you're basically making them for free. Crystal Heart is actually really nice in the EMZ because it's unaffected by things like Nibiru, which someone dropped to me at one point. Bubble Reef is your draw engine, so I was just drawing 2 cards per turn effectively with Bubble Reef, which let me get to my other cards really quickly and access my Necros engine. Marbled Rock, as I've already spoken about, just basically grinded out my opponent by accessing my wave every turn, which is basically a free imperm. And wave does mean my monsters are unaffected by opponent's card effects that turn, so I didn't really miss the field spell that much, I just missed its attack boost. So rather than attacking with a 4-5 Marbled Rock, I was attacking with a 2-5 Marbled Rock. Yeah, it wasn't really the best. Wanderheart didn't ever go into because I didn't have the field spell to equip the card, so I actually never had the ability to summon an equip card, so I'd never made it. If I would probably swap out the Mannequin Cat for a Sea Angel, just so then that we could have the field spell engine running around, and this deck would work a lot better. But still third place without Sea Angel, I'll take it. Last 2 links, one Murmur Abysshire, basically a Dryden, normal summon your Deep Sea Diva, summon a Nectobus, send Dragoons, add heavy infantry, Dragoons effect, add marksman, make your Murmur link 2, you've got either a pop a face down or pop a face up card in your opponent's card effect, and then you can also add your Murmur Abyss Megalo for next turn for the follow up. Really solid turn 1 play. It's not exactly the normal Murmur turn 1 play, but it still worked. Finally, a Mistar Boy, that is there literally just to break our own Testudo lock to enable us to OTK our opponent going third, if you will. So we go first, make the Testudo lock. Then we make the Mistar Boy in our turn 2 to then basically overlink our opponent and basically smash them in the face a bunch of times. That was the game plan. Like I said, I won 3, lost 2. I was on for last round I was on table 1 playing against Mech Knight, Invoked, Blind second. Really good deck, probably how you should play Highlander, but I'll take it with my water mishmash. I'm a Freaky Fish guy, I have to play water. Anyway guys, thank you for checking out this video. I highly recommend joining Abyshire's Discord group or subbing to our YouTube channel because this event was a lot of fun. There are some replays and feature matches of this event on Abyshire's channel and Chainlank's channel. I am in one of them. It was one of the games I lost. That's just the way the world works. I do hope they upload the other 2 rounds because I did play a lot better in those 2 rounds, and it is quite fun to watch an alternative format of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway guys, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.